and you will sense, you will have a heightened psychic activity. So our best advice to you is to expect excellence. Hip hip. Let's go for it. Expect excellence. Expect excellence. Questions?
Peace.
Yes, Ludi.
Yeah, I don't know what the source of this was. That there is a timeline that the global elite are on. They have to, by their own agreement, match this timeline, and that they're.
In what capacity do you mean match it?
They have to have certain agendas in place for their control, and that if they don't make that, they really blow it. And that this ties into what we've just been talking about, because as I see it, if you have a room full of people like we have here, and we broadcast out, and the orchids all broadcast out as well, because these orchids are from all around the world.
Absolutely. The Living Library does add a lot of free assistance.
Yeah.
It's better than the broadband, internet, Wi-Fi, all those things. Absolutely.
So this just gives me a really good feeling about that, because I really feel like the course of this discussion so far today is that we're really headed in that direction strongly. We have these telepathic systems around us.
In other words, what have you, obviously, for many of you, you've been listening to us for a long time, studying with others. Some of you got triggered when you were young children, teenagers. Yes, it all has meaning, but for what? What is it for? Not just to enhance your life, but you are moving towards, let's say, points in time that are like Gordian knots, or they are big labyrinths, or they are big twirly spirals, and they are black holes and portals and all these things, and you slide through these things now and again, but the next number of years are going to be some big ones. And then the whatever of 2012, all the thought forms and attention attached on 2012 is hovering there on the horizon. And there are things occurring, and there have been things occurring. And yes, there are some in the global forces who play with time in that capacity. They are well aware that through cosmic connections, interventions, and simply timing, in that terms, cyclical, let's say, repetitions, that every once in a while the energies come around and humanity gets a big bump up. Every once in a while the energies come down and humanity gets wiped out. And this is one of those times. Do you go for a bump up? In other words, you take the upgrades and you operate in another manner, or is this the wipeout? They are preparing for wipeout, as you know, because they have built things in space, they have honeycombed inside the Earth, excavated the Atlantean tunnels, there's all kinds of underground facilities and support for an in-case evacuation type scenario. That would mean that cosmic things would have gone awry. They are also very well aware that some scientifics, there is this cosmic radiation that morphs things, that creates giantism, that can rearrange consciousness. Certainly they are well aware that some of these gamma bursts change the consciousness of humanity, change their behavior. So the planetary controllers look at their behavioral experiments and they realize they are quite humbled because they cannot produce gamma bursts that are going to send everyone into new states of consciousness. But they certainly can and do produce all kinds of brainwave frequencies that control people's behaviors, especially when people are gathering outdoors or indoors in large groups. There's often behavioral energies afoot. So Ludi, they are aware on some level that there's risks, which many of these people believe in their own hubris and through their associations with other cosmic beings who sometimes also can get delusional, that their way is the way. And beings even who know many, many, many things about the cosmos can forget the simple truth, which is what you do comes back to you. And sometimes they bank on creating force fields and energetics, and you have no idea how complex some of these beings make reality. It is all for their own frivolity and the exploration, and sometimes they cause a lot of trouble. But in the end, of course, it's only ideas and matter that appears to be destroyed. But in consciousness always can regroup, reform, reincarnate, redesign, responsor itself. So this is why destruction from some points of view is extremely tragic. From other points of view, beings know that nothing is really destroyed. Big dynamic there, difference in perspective. So when you factor all these things in together, lots of people think they know what's going on, and they may not. Right? And what they are desperate for is not losing control of the emotional chaos and food that they reap from humanity. And that food is fed into the ethers, and beings of a non-physical nature then, let's say, support and give all kinds of donations to their physical counterparts. And when their physical counterparts no longer provide them the food that comes from the salacious movies, the electronics, the rock scene, the music scenes, you name it, everybody's interested in your emotional energy. Beings feed off of it. And world leaders rev it up, sometimes without any meaning. They don't care. They are guided to do this, to set the people off. But they know they are losing control. That there are more people who will be responsive, more and more being responsive, because they are conscious, than they are unconsciously reactive. You follow?
Yeah.
So you do always contribute. And with the sea right here, and as you said, the orchids and greenhouse, there's a lot of energy out there to send it out. Don't doubt yourselves. It's good. Questions? Who has a question? Eleanor.
How will the blossoming of consciousness this summer change the politics in this country? Will it bring us closer together, or will it serve to separate us even further? Separation is the name of the game now for many years. It's just where you are as humanity. Separation in terms of values. So some will say, this is a uniting of humanity, because more of the same kind of people with the same values will cluster together. So it will be your perspectives. But we see that people will gravitate or be pulled towards areas of the world, or country, world, where they have similarities. There will be, let's say, people are going to take a stand on what's really important to them. Politically, your country is a mess, and no matter what party is arising, if we were today to say, all right, from today on, this is the birth of the Greenhouse Orchid Party. Well, if we use green, then we'd be stepping on someone else's toes. So we'll call it the Hot House Orchid Party. That'll get some people moving there. The Hot House Orchid Party. And you say, all right, we say, all right, we'll send you energy for it. Go out there, watch, the donations will come. And you might start off with absolutely clear platforms and wonderful intentions. And if you were to do one of those flash mobs or something, or put it out there on one of those internet things, we're having a meeting there up at the Hot House gathering, bring your thermos and come, bring your good ideas. Within 24 hours, 48 hours, a week, it would be infiltrated.